Second Page Delivery. Hello, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to talk with you today, and I wanted to ask you, can you really trust the food that you're feeding yourself every day? The food that you're buying from your local grocery stores. Do you know if it's safe, if it's nutritious, if it's healthy? Do you know the amount of pesticides and chemicals that are involved in the food? Well, the only way that I think that you can really be able to confidently say, yes, I know that the food that I'm feeding myself is healthy, is nutritious, is free of chemicals and pesticides, is if you're to grow it yourself. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to start your own organic garden. First, I'm going to discuss with you what to grow. I'm going to specifically discuss tomatoes and blueberries and use those as my examples. And then I'm going to discuss when to start this garden. When should you start? And then lastly, I'm going to talk about some benefits with you. How is this going to benefit you if you start your own garden? How are you going to financially benefit, and how are you going to benefit in regards to your health? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to figure out, are you going to go small or are you going to go big? Are you going to start off in potted plants? Are you going to start off in medium-sized crates? Are you going to go bigger and carve out a section in your yard? Well, the bigger you go, the more work it's going to be. So I suggest starting off smaller and go from there. A second thing that you need to know is your soil and pH levels. This is a key component into growing. According to Brian Greene from the Daily Green, he suggests in order to gauge your soils that you get it professionally tested. So you can get your soils professionally tested, or you can get an at-home kit and do it yourself and do a little bit of research on it. Or you can, say you're using a medium-sized crate, you can purchase organic soil from Home Depot, Lowe's, a nursery, and then you would pour it into the crate, and you could use purchased soil. So that's an easy fix, but it might be a little bit more costly. There's also different things, different composts and mixtures and things like that that you need to kind of do some research on to figure out what's a good mixture and how's you're going to create the best growing conditions for what you want to grow. So let's talk about pH levels. And according to Barbara Pleasant from Mother Earth News, if in growing blueberries, you want a pH level of 5.0 or less. And in growing tomatoes, you want a pH level of 6.0 to 6.8. Remember, the pH levels, they are going to measure your acidity and your alkalinity of your soils. So the lower the level, the more acidic your soil is going to be. When are you going to start growing these blueberries and tomatoes? When should you start? Should you start in the summer, the fall, the spring? When to start? Well, you need to first, according to Dana from Ross Common Acres, you need to determine your USDA hardiness zones, and you need to know your first and last frost dates. You got to get those down first, decide what you want to grow, and then that'll tell you when you can start. So with blueberries, you're going to start from mid-December to mid-February, and with tomatoes, you're going to start from mid-March. How are you going to control pesticides? How are you going to keep the bugs away from the things that you're growing without using all the harsh and toxic chemicals that we're talking about? Well, there are ways. Again, according to Brian Greene from the Daily Green, you can use horticultural oils, insecticidal soaps, or you can use hot pepper and garlic sprays. And that's just a few examples of things that you can use that are free of chemicals, that are safe, and are not going to harm you down the road. When do you water, and how do you space things? Well, that's all going to just depend on what you choose to do. If you start off with seeds, organic seeds, the packet that they come in, on the back of them, it's going to say how often to water and how to space what you're planting, the seeds that you're planting. So that information is really easy, and it's just going to depend on what you choose to grow. Well, some of the benefits of growing organically and starting your own garden is you're going to be saving a lot of money. You're going to be saving a lot of money on what you choose to grow. If you're growing fruits and veggies and herbs, then you're not going to be purchasing them as much at the grocery store. So you can maybe focus more on your meats and your dairies and things like that. And then benefit, how's it going to benefit you health-wise? Well, according to Vicki Koenig from Stonyfield Organic, research shows that an organic diet dramatically reduces pesticide levels in your system, increases antioxidant levels, and increases beneficial nutrients. So it's very beneficial to eat organically and start growing organically. So I hope that I've kind of intrigued your interest. I don't have much more time to talk to you today, but I hope I've at least informed you enough about how to get started and piqued your interest. And I hope I've persuaded you into start growing organically. And I think it's very important. And what's more important than the food that you're feeding yourselves and keeping yourself healthy and healthy long term. So thank you so much for having me today.